Okay,
please.
so we are live. Welcome, Thailand. Welcome, Pallavi. So we are here for the editors chat, and Andrea sent the agenda, and before that, Prerna had sent some very important compilation of news sources. So maybe that could be, the agenda that we follow today. But before we go through that, any concerns or any points that you faced in last few days, maybe starting with Pallavi.
No, I think no, it's actually no concerns there. I did see the email that Prerna sent,
Right.
so we can discuss that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Thailand, did you face any issues or?
No, I mean, it's all fine.
Okay. Thailand, regarding your posts, I noticed that when you post the link at the bottom of the post, you actually post the correct link, but for the text of that link, you do not use the title. If you compare your posts with, let's say, Pallavi's or Andrea's, you will notice what I mean. So that's
I see.
something that's a
I
small.
understood. I understood. Okay. So do you think that I should go and change all?
Yeah, at your own pace, and any other, let's say, admin, Andrea or myself can do it on your behalf also. So as and when time allows, but it's just
Okay, I will make the effort. Yeah, sure. I can
yeah.
fix this. Yeah.
And our standard is that for the link we use the entire title. Now for the post title we use a short and catchy title, but for the
Okay.
link we use the full title. Like whether if it's, let's say, a research paper, then the entire title with its authors and its journal number and volume number, year, everything that is
Sure.
posted on the dashboard. And I noticed that some of your entries that are, assigned to you are the most typical. They're not the easiest, so I hope you're not facing an undue challenge there.
No, all fine, all fine. Did you assign me lately? Because uh, I edited all that was assigned to me. So could you assign new to me? Let me check.
Yes, indeed. There were some assigned to you lately, uh,
Okay,
so you can have a look. And these
okay.
these were around on the top of the dashboard.
At the top.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna check.
right.
Sure.
Okay, so maybe we can quickly also go through the agenda that Andrea had prepared. So you know the sorry, I'll have to look it up. Yeah, so basically the volume of entries has gone up in the last few days, and that's great. To be honest, Andrea said that you can leave some of your entries ready, but as draft, so that we can post them as a schedule. But to be honest, I don't see that as a big problem, uh, given our relatively low readership at this moment. Though this is definitely an idea to kind of make use of. So I hope you understand what it means is that you can just short of publishing, save your entries, and they will be saved as drafts. So all the hard work is done, and then somebody, yourself or one of the admins, can go at a later date and post on your behalf. If you think that you had a 2 hour slot one day where you posted 50, or I don't know, a bulk of entries, and that you think that you would rather want to schedule it, this is an idea.
Is there a number like 10 entries is a lot, or nothing like that?
If I was here, he would finish his point that he raised in the mail. But to be honest, my personal point of view is that there is no number. Even if you post a lot, let's say all editors end up posting 10 entries in the same day, making it 50 entries, I don't see it as a problem, to be honest. Yeah, and I would have discussed this with Andrea, but I think all I mean is that at this stage, let's treat it as a tool that is within our grasp if we actually want to schedule it. So let's use our discretion. I'm not. I propose that we do not put any rule here as of now.
The
Yeah.
best would be if Blogger had a facility to kind of schedule automatized posts like the banks do, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, we are now for the purpose of Wiki, right? Which is also our attempt is to host it on Blogger. We are making use of something called Blogger APIs, which is Blogger's open architecture, where we use third-party tools to make posts. And I think we will have some learnings from that Blogger API experiments that we are doing on Wiki to translate back those as editor, and propose you some tools, make some simple tools for the editors. That's the attempt. It's an open-ended thing right now. I don't know how much within our budget and time we'll achieve. So natively, Blogger does not allow for any such facility, but through Blogger APIs, there may be something like that possible in due course. And yeah, and we are working on. We just started to kind of test Blogger APIs in wiki context, and we'll definitely translate our learnings to Biblio.
Okay.
Right. Okay, and then we've been revising some old Andrea's third point. Uh, yeah, Thailand, if you notice Andrea's third point, well, it says we've been revising some of the old materials in the log, uh, and which Jaspreet had originally integrated, and most of them were originally assigned to Thailand, and they still are. So let us know if there are too many for you. In fact, if you go to the editor's dashboard, my worry is that you will see just too many assigned to you, not too little anymore.
So this is recent news, right? Because like last week I had none, so now it's too many. That's
Indeed,
what
indeed,
what you
indeed.
mean. Okay.
Yeah. So I think
No, that's fine.
Andre is already acknowledging that there may be too many. So I think this was done for simplicity, and the idea is not to flood you. And over a period of, I think we can fairly distribute them. I think he did this because there were none to you. So I think he did a rush job there.
I think yeah, we can leave as it is.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean to say it doesn't change the. I mean you can schedule them accordingly, right? I mean you don't have to.
Yeah,
It's,
sure.
it's not like a. Okay, and if you face a problem with any of those, because some of them are typical, very typical entries, you may not. You may find this is from the old sort of way of doing things. So you may find some links to be missing and so on and so forth. So let us know if there is a section for notes in the dashboard.
Yes.
So leave your notes and we'll address those.
Yeah. I saw. Yeah. Okay.
Um, let's see. Yeah. And we'll work further on the dashboard. On Predna's compilation, I think it's a very good starting point that we have. We don't have the entire coverage in the sense of not having South America or Africa covered. I think if we would hate to bring that sort of bias or be sort of absent from a few regions. I think for a balance, but we really don't have the, like Predna was able to provide some very good sources from India, right? So I think we need a person who's sort of expert from the region to tell us what are those best sources. So let's look, Thailand, Pallavi, if there is somebody in Latin America as well as in Africa you think we can get good information from, at least to begin with, we can have the list include those news sources also. And secondly, I want to find a systematic way for these news sources to reflect in our dashboard. I mean to say, our dashboard is currently on specific sources, specific articles that need to be posted. And I want to figure out a way in which these news sources kind of work well along with our dashboard. I don't want to create a new dashboard for this, or so that requires some thinking, and I'm on it.
Okay. So when you said sources from the areas that we are not covering, did you mean people or you meant topics?
Yeah. So I think you were you need to look at this mail from Prerna. And
Okay.
what she did, was she posted to the planthro group, so she did not post to the individuals. So as a result, this post came from the news group,
Okay.
via the news group. So what she's done is very meticulously, she's taken many geographies around the world and chosen reliable news sources, because planthro biblio is also going to cover news, and we want to, our attempt is to kind of go to multiple news sources and cover them for relevant articles on a regular basis. But we saw that Latin America and Africa were missing. That's number one. I will share this mail from Prerna to you, for you to understand better. And secondly, what is the best way to kind of access these news sources? Whether it's some sort of a feed that we create so that we get the relevant keywords into our dashboard, reflected, or it could be some sort of a personal subscription to you, to the editors who take up, let's say, a particular region, a particular topic. That's the idea. I mean, it's a bit vague right now on how to adopt this new paradigm of capturing news as well.
Okay.
And news has to be captured as and when it's happening, right? I mean, we can't do it like 1 week later or 10 days later. So the editor who's working on it has to really work on it. Like right now, we're just doing it in our free time and whenever we get time. But if we are covering news,
Yeah. So see, that's the whole thing. I mean, I don't have the last level detail, but we all need to think on this.
yeah.
And obviously, it's hard to expect uh, a complete change in availability or commitment from the editors. So we have to think within what we have rather than what ideally should have, and so on. So one of the ways for that is again creating some recipes. And recipes is a technical, I mean, it's usually a technical term in the web scraping. Why web scraping means pulling content that is openly published on the web to a structured database or your own format. So that's web scraping. And recipes are pieces of code, snippets of codes that sit within a scraping software to extract particular news sources. For example, Boston Globe. If it is publishing a certain article, then a recipe within the scrapings, bigger scraping software that we're using, will go to Boston Globe, look for that particular article, keywords or sections, pull the articles, pull the images, and make them ready for you. So I think news will, I mean, legitimately require some automation that we don't have at the moment.
Is this legal to start with?
So Thailand, we are not plagiarizing. Now, what we are doing is we are taking, let's say, first sentence, right, and we are linking it back to the original reference. We are never claiming this to be our content, right? So that's why we are, we are definitely legal with Biblio. If you think of, if you type on Google, for example, news related to climate change, yeah, and you can look at last 24 hours, right? You get all the news articles from, and the first few paragraphs, first a snippet and the original link, and it's a compilation, right? So this is what the Biblio is compiling with, along with a, in a more interactive way, along with the source image and so on and so forth.
Yeah, no, I meant that if you automatize, our robot can suck everything from Boston Globe to our website. That's what I was asking.
Yeah. So the idea is that the last level discretion will be editors.
Okay.
So if we make them ready, then at the last step, the editor decides whether it goes or doesn't go. And then, of course, we can regulate the levels and the mix as well as the relevance. So, for example, if we think that our tool has pulled something which is only very loosely fits very loosely with Biblio program, then we may reject it. So the idea is not to flood Biblio with irrelevant stuff, right? In any case, I feel that we need to think more about news, and so let's do that. We will need some tools. We'll need some thinking, more importantly.
Yes.
Right. So that's it from my side, actually. And I'm here if you want to discuss anything further or have any points or any personal thing to talk about, regarding your availability, for example.
No, it's all good from my side. I actually have to run. I have my son's
Yep.
school meeting.
Right.
So I'll bye for now.
Okay. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you for joining.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Pallavi. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
And thanks, Thailand. And
Thank you,
I will stop the
Amit.
broadcast.
Okay, sure.